All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Brogan, and today we're back for another trading stream. Now, if you were here last stream, you will hopefully remember what I not alluded to. We discussed, I don't want to say I said or I claimed, we discussed it. We communed within ourselves and tried to find, or I tried to pull out of a hat a methodology I could try to attempt to use to gauge where we could be going for a high. I think if you've been looking at the Bitcoin chart over the past few days and actually seen what's happened and seen our high we hit, I think I could probably say it worked pretty well. That's just my opinion though. But regardless, other than that, welcome everybody to the stream. Appreciate you all for being here. I'm excited because it's one of those streams, and I've said this before. There's two streams I do. I've just made my camera move, I think. Let me make sure it's in the center and do that. Hold on. There we go. There's two streams I do. There's hopefully my mic's not too loud as well. I'm trying to sort of settings out. I think I've sorted out my PC not crashing. I pray. I'm fed up of it at this point. But there's two streams I do. There's the streams where we actually give prices and I talk about where we could move to, and then there's streams where we discuss what's happened during what I said last and how we've moved from what I've said. So we'll be doing that mostly today, but I do have more to talk about on Bitcoin as well and some other prices. And what I will say, looking at the chat, we have Hidden Agendas thinking 125k and KB not thinking that. And I'm not being biased here, but I do not agree with the 125k just yet. I do think we have so much below us potential, and I'm looking at what we are right now, and I'm not seeing in the price section. I'm really not seeing us actually doing anything differently than us going down. So we'll get to it though. I'm not going to talk about it just yet. So anyway, let's actually look at some prices and some percentages. So Bitcoin, hopefully that you can see on the screen. You can actually, yeah. Bitcoin 116.9, 117k roughly. 7% up 7 day, boom, brilliant, but 2.5% down 24 hour. Obviously, we've been continuously going down anyway. It's not just those values, but yes, again, over the 7 day, we have had that nice pump, but it's majoritively just reached that high, obviously reached that 123 3-ish K area, and obviously retraced downwards, because we basically, we'll get to the charts when we get to the charts. 3,000 for Ethereum. Now, remember, I think, because, again, I won't lie, whenever I do charts on stream, I do obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. I generally just look at Bitcoin and keep up to date on Bitcoin. I do look at Ethereum, Solana, and other coins in between. But as of this period between last stream and this stream, I haven't actually really looked at the charts. I knew that Ethereum hit 3k, but I can't remember. I think I said 3k or within that range, because we had a certain amount of highs and we had a gap above us in the premium, which I was interested to look at for Ethereum as a high. So I think I talked about 3k. I might be wrong on that, but I think I remember talking about that. Solana 162. I think I talked about 160. I don't want to be wrong. We'll get to it. We'll find out when we get to it. I hit 20 and I'm old age. Okay, I'm out of prime. I'm losing my mind. I've forgotten what I said last. When was it actually? It's Tuesday today. I think it was. I don't think I did a Saturday stream. It was about a week ago. So I'm losing my mind clearly. 20 years of age, and I don't remember what I say anymore. So at some point I'm gonna start, relieving myself when I'm not on the toilet. I'm not gonna realize it, and I'm gonna start peeing myself. And I'm gonna need a nappy when I hit 21. So I'm not excited for that. But yes, 162 for Solana. I think I said something in that range anyway, so pretty good so far. In terms of that, I want to see what's actually going up today though. Yeah, I think someone having Pump.fun. I think you could trade Pump.fun tokens. I think you could. I think I saw some I remember it in my subconscious. I think I read some on a notification where you could trade some Pump. Oh no, it's a new list. Oh no, man, I'm stupid. It's a new thing. Because we can see by the data, it's literally happened in the past 15. But you could trade, that's probably what the notification was. You could trade Pump.fun itself as a token, as a master token. So yes, I think that's probably the news of it. Master Speed, there we go. Brilliant, yeah, shout out to you guys. Pudgy, I actually recently saw my Pudgy. I didn't really do any TA, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of just saw it hit because I think I got it for free. I was like, oh, do you know what, I'm gonna sell it now. So yeah, but shout out to Pudgy Penguins. Obviously they're getting their thing going on. Shout out to those guys. And I'm trying to see if there's anything I want to actually talk about and look at. Not really. Let's see who's losing though. Filecoin, yes. we're glad. I don't like Filecoin. You know, I don't like Filecoin. It's just stupid. Stupid coin. Pi, stupid as well. I hate Pi. I hate Pi. Oh my god, I hate Pi. I hate Pi. I hate it. Oh my god, what an idiot coin. Let's spend however long mining a token with our phones, and then when we actually let you sell it, I think it was I can't remember I can't remember the exact system, but basically it's like, who's gonna buy Pi? Okay, I might be uneducated, but I think this was literally the biggest waste of time I've ever seen in my life. I might be wrong on that though. But I don't even know what you can do. You know what? I should probably get to know. You know, I should probably educate myself. I don't really know what you can do with what Pi. I just knew you could mine it on your phone. And that's pretty much it from what it seems like. And why though? Why is what I want to know. Whatever. I don't know. It's stupid. I remember, you know what? I remember looking at it and went, you know what? I should get that. And I thought, then I really thought to myself, am I really going to leave my phone on every night, plugged in, wasting my battery's life? Well, my phone will die. And am I going to get enough Pi in valuation? Am I going to get enough Pi to buy a new phone when my phone busts up? Or should I get you know what, to be fair, I bet there's people out there who had Android emulators on their PCs who got 10 different phones on their PC and just mined Pi. Yeah, it's stupid. Pi's stupid. And obviously Bitcoin. So yeah, not bad. Let's see 7 day quickly. I'm kind of like yapping a bit. Yeah, obviously did sell Pudgy. You know, thank the Lord. Not thank the Lord. I'm not have anything against Pudgy, but and Pi's down. You know what? Well, considering on the 7 day again, obviously we have pumped in the market, so 7 days doing pretty well. And 1 hour doesn't matter. Again, it's literally 8 minutes ago. I might have a look at Pump One actually, just for the shindigs or whatever, hootenannies, and have a little nosy. Other than that though, that's pretty much it. So let's actually get onto the charts. So here's my lines. All right, if you weren't here last week, pretty much last week, last Thursday. I think it was last Thursday. Was it last Tuesday? When did I stream last? Was it Thursday? 'Cause I didn't stream Saturday because it wasn't really going on. I think anyway. Am I wrong? I don't know. Whenever I stream last, if you weren't there, I'm gonna tell you guys what I talked about because I do this every stream. I'm like, oh well, you know, I just yap about the same thing over again. So basically, this is on the weekly. It's not drawn on the weekly, but what I had drawn are these little guys over here. So let me actually show them. I'll show this one first. So basically, what it was can you guys see the price? No, you can't. I should probably shimmy this a bit so you guys can actually see the Bitcoin price because I know people don't get happy with me when you can't see the price. My camera is not centered. That's not very nice. Let me do that actually because I look unprofessional. I've got a short haircut which is uniform. You know, I'm clearly life's sorting me out. I don't want a non-centered camera. Anyway, basically the idea of what these lines, I think it was on the daily actually. Yeah, here we go. So basically the idea of this line, on these lines, it's standard deviation. Okay, so it's in like kind of multiples or whatever you want to coin it, of a length, and basically the way you measure it. And this isn't I didn't make this. This is a different. Cause I was thinking to myself, okay, I use these ranges. If you guys remember the ranges, the reason I don't use the ranges anymore is because it's just messy, and like I don't need to use them. I use them because like they worked majoritively with the equilibrium and whatnot. But I thought, you know what, I should just not use them because they're very messy on the stream and stuff like that. So I deleted them. But so I was kind of I still remember what I talked about with the ranges. 125k. We talked about 151k, 140 something. But we did talk about 122 and 123k, which obviously we have come to now. I could probably get the ranges back up, which I think I did last stream. Which showed these lines. Yeah, here it is. 118. I think it was 125 I was talking about up here, which I think obviously people were talking about. But anyway, so obviously I needed a new methodology of attempting to understand where a move could go to, not based on previous highs or lows, not based on previous price action, not based on anything like that, just solely based on and again, when it gets to this point where and I said this last stream, I'm not going to yap on it. If you were last stream, you don't want to hear me say this again. But it gets to the point when you're when price discovery, it's like there's only so much fundamental you can do in terms of looking at price action, looking at highs. It's like you realistically, to actually gauge where a high could be, it's like you have to use these percentage tools and like, okay, well, on average we might move up 2 standard deviations, so let's attempt to use this. And this is just what it was. And the idea basically is. It sounds a bit kooky, but whether it be kooky or not, it worked pretty well. You know what I mean? So it's worked pretty well so far. You know what I mean? Not trying to be, you know, not saying it's kooky and whatnot. Oh, you just use standard deviations on some random lines. Hey, okay, less than $200. That's like $120 ish, 130, 100, whatever. Like 100 and whatever the dollars that is. $200, let's say, whatever. 120, 150, $150 difference between the high and the standard deviation. I think that's pretty good. Okay, I don't know what you guys think. Okay, you know, that's my opinion. So, you know, what do you guys think? I mean, hey, this is not financial advice, but I think 100. I can't bother to think. I'm in the talking mode. I'm not thinking about math, but $130-ish, whatever it is exactly. That's a good difference, I think. Especially when you're in price discovery and you're trying to predict a high. I think that's pretty decent. But anyway, the idea, going back to that Charlotte, instead of me going, oh, look how great I am, guys. Look how great I am. Basically, the idea is you get the move, the consecutive move, which it's kind of like the last low before you move up. I'm explaining this really badly. So obviously we went down below these lows and whatnot, and this low down here, especially these lows, these massively equal lows down here. We went below them with this massive wick, and then from there, it's basically when you kind of move like this, and you have this move down, you have this higher low and higher high. It's then when you look back and you look at this range, and when you start to see yourself go above these highs, and you're okay, cool, we're going up now. Where could this end? You can draw a standard deviation on that. And then the green area is kind of the general area you want to look for. You know, you can look at -1, or not -1. You can look at the first standard deviation. You can look at the fourth deviation. But in general, you look at the 2 to 2.5 area for the standard deviation. And obviously, within this first move, we can see the upper limit of the standard deviation was 107.15, and our high, the first high, was 108.311. So I think that's... Oh, actually, you know what? It's not bad. I mean, it's a high time frame, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the line's pretty close. You know what I'm saying? So it's close, I guess, but it doesn't. It looked like it sounded better than it actually sounded, but you know, it's a grand. It's not that bad. But you know, you can see anyway. Look at like, the candle, the price action and whatnot. So obviously we saw this high, and obviously we took out this high, and then we came down and whatnot. But regardless, the high was there. Obviously showing this next one, which was for this move. Again, it's very similar to this last one with this green area. Same exact ideology with this low. You can see we start to print upwards and at least print above this low. Obviously, the candle bodies are printing above, change in state of delivery, whatever, it doesn't matter. The CISDs, CSIDs, whatever. The things I've drawn on the past few streams with those red lines is this thing where you kind of, it's the same thing as taking out the highs, but you look at the candle bodies instead. But it kind of predetermines. I'm going off topic here, but it predetermines a print above a high or a low, and it's not as secure, but it's kind of the same thing as printing above a high. So same thing here. Obviously, we're printing above these highs now, especially here as well. So you know, when you start to see this, you start to kind of look back and you see, okay, cool. I have it drawn from this one, I think, because of the lower time frames on the 4 hour, because this is a smaller range. Obviously, this one was from this range. This one was smaller. But regardless, it's this whole move which took out this area, and the last low before, obviously, we came upwards and saw our highs. And then the green area, as you can see, was within this area. And again, this one wasn't, you know, beautiful or anything, but, you know, it's still within this range, especially with these prints here. It's like, it's pretty close. And this one's pretty, you know, pretty on the dot there. So it's kind of like a gauge to see where you could relatively, like, if you start to get towards this 110.2 area, it's when you, it's kind of an area where you're like, okay, cool, we should start to look for, you know, us moving down. So now we can actually move on to, excuse me, where we are now. So same thing here. I think this is a lower time frame because I have it on this wick, but regardless, same thing here. We have it for this move down, which obviously came into this area, took out all this kind of low area, or mainly this low as a whole, came into this area. Okay, cool, we've filled, you can see multiple candles. We're going from this whole area, not just this individual candle here. Obviously came back into here. So not saying, because again, you know, when you come to this area of a void, it's like, okay, we've not necessarily filled every order, you know. So we've come a bit deeper into this area. There's still potential there. We haven't filled the entire thing. We've also come past this low, you know, kind of stacked on this area. We've come past this low. and we've produced this lower low, or this lower low, which is then also started to print above us here. So clearly this is our low. And then now that we're here, I've given the context. It estimated us to hit about 123 to 127. So what I said last stream was I could see a bit of resistance at 114.8, sorry. But I think my max high is definitely going to be in this range. And obviously I was saying, this. I know this, it's like a big range, it's like a 4 grand range, but it's, price discovery. But, we can see we hit it early with this this high here. So pretty nice. In terms of the resistance on 114.7, we didn't really see much there, but again, we haven't really seen that previously anyway. We've only really seen, you normally look at the second standard deviation, and it normally starts to matter then. So, but regardless, that's kind of the history of, not the history, sorry, the context of this, what I'm talking about now. So now we can hide it for now. Oh, I'll keep it on screen, doesn't matter. So now I can actually start to look at some lower time frames and look. So I've been kind of tracking it up and whatnot, and looking at it on the way up, especially on the 1 hour. Again, we've got all this below us, and this is what I'm going to get to these numbers down here. Another thing I actually looked at, which I think I sent to Mike a bit ago, was the for like a major high, like the next high, just to see like what it would show. Was I did look at I was looking at here we go. The stack we had here, I was just kind of looking at this stack and looking at about 132-ish, like in this middle point. But it doesn't matter. That's like future stuff. That's not what's going to happen right now. So ignore that. So I'm just going to 1 hour so we can see it in a bit more detail. So I was kind of tracking this up, obviously looking, because again, yeah, each individual, cause the idea of these gaps is that, okay, cool, these have moved too far away. But it's like you can stack in between these two candles. It's like, okay, cool. We have, this candle, we have this candle, and these ones work. But what you can do, and another way of formatting this to be drawn and shown on the screen, is to also just draw it between these two negative candles and show this whole range upwards, which I have done just to explain why I have it drawn the way I do. So we obviously hit it in this midpoint, and then kind of held it as support. It wasn't a great, I'm not saying this is like great, buy we buy now. This is like we were supposed to come into this and then absolutely pump all the way upwards, but kind of just mapping out this potential buy area, whether it be a high stacked buy area or just an area where we should see some support. Obviously we had that multiple times. Again, with this area, we kind of had this main candle, take out all these lows, and then we in the preceding candles upwards engulf this candle. So clearly this was definitely going to be a support area, which you can see kind of came to the bottom of this area more than twice, and also we came to the midpoint here. So formed the support on the way up, which is why we didn't come into it and then come deeper, is because we formed this support, which obviously we used here, and obviously didn't quite use here because again with this one it's kind of the same concept where we kind of had these equal lows. We had this engulf here, and we didn't quite hit this bottom area, but then obviously we came up. But that's just just kind of yapping about us on the way up. But the main focus from all those random string of words I've just given out, which may not had any use to your guys' ears, the main focus I want you to kind of think of is these areas here. If I draw some more, these main areas here. It's on the 1 hour. I look at them on different time frames, so do bear that in mind. Especially this stacks up. Because it's like the price. It's like one time frame isn't going to lie about another time frame, if you know what I mean. So it's like the price is the same, like the price moves the same, but it's represented differently on different time frames because of multiple candles. But realistically, it's like whatever I'm going to have on the 1 hour. If I've got two areas on the 1 hour, the likely chance is if I go to the 4 hour, I'm going to have one area. So it's kind of like that concept. And this now ties into what I was talking about with these areas. I will go back onto it here in a minute. I do want to look at this whole process and how we moved, but I'm going to give these prices first as a just a quick like boom, there's my prices, and then we can move on to price action. Because you guys, obviously I'm not saying you guys don't care about me talking about price action, the old price action, but again, I'm going to give the important part, which is actually what I kind of think as of right now. So again, we've definitely had this reversal from this point. We're going to go into the lower time frames and have a look at that just to see what we actually did, what we formed to bring us actually down, and why we did it. So we can see we've obviously printed past these lows. Ever since then as well, it's like we started to print past. We'd have to go into the lower time frames, to start seeing this, especially with here. It's like you can kind of predetermine, but I talk about this all the time. It's like when you have the lower time frame, it's like that can print and start to show that it's reversed and it starts to come into in this case a bear trend. But then if you actually go to the 4 hour, it's like, okay, well the last low was this area 116, so it's like 1 hour. When you look at the 118.2, okay, we've printed past this area, especially here as well. It's like, okay, we've had these candle prints as well starting to come down. It's like, okay, clearly we're starting to come down from this. It's not just a quick a retracement. And the difference between from an expansion to have a retracement, which then gives you another expansion upwards, versus a reversal, an expansion and a reversal and an expansion downwards, is from what I've obviously, again, this is not financial advice, it's just my opinion, is definitely the speed, the intensity, the size of the displacements, if you will, of each candle. And again, you can see the difference between a lot of these moves we've had, especially with these ones. The candles aren't very again, this was when we were properly pumping, especially with this as well. It's like you can see the candles are tiny. We're not pumping. It's not in a single direction. The candles are tiny. The wicks are pretty, we can clearly see the wicks. It's not really moving. And in that case, you can see we've had this expansion, and we're clearly retracing. And obviously, with this last low coming into this area, literally tickled this little gap area, and obviously pumped from there. Same thing here, massive pump. Again, it's all hindsight, I get that, but if you go to the lower time frames, it's kind of the same concept, where it's like we're looking at this and these are just like tiny, these aren't big, and obviously we've come into this area, and obviously we've come into this area, okay, cool, formed this area in between here, as you can see, came to the midpoint. So it's the same thing here. It's like we have this gap in between these two candles, which form this one, and you can see we came to the midpoint here. And normally you look at the bodies as the way the price is moving, and the wicks is, obviously people say, the candles tell the story, the wick did no damage. So kind of, same thing there. It's like, okay, we've easily come to the midpoint of this, pretty much exactly, and obviously came up. So, but the point I'm trying to make is the idea I kind of have, it's not my idea, but it's in like my general understanding anyway, is you can see the same thing here. It's like we are coming down, but we're having these recoveries, we're having these like little downs, we have these candles in between which are just like not moving, we have a lot of these moves up, and obviously in this case it's like the second thing to focus on also is what we have below us, and this is a massive candle upwards, massive speed. So it's like clearly we're going to have buy orders in this area at a short term. This is the 15 minutes as well. This is a short term thing as well. So these aren't just going to be outstanding areas where it's like, I suppose the idea is like, I get the idea of where orders in a fast moving situation, orders may not get filled, but I think the applicability of that, I would assume, might have a play or might be affected by the time frame, because you're like, okay, think about the weekly. So if you spent 3 weeks going up, are the orders, I mean, they probably would be, but it's like, I think the likelihood of the orders being taken out by a slight proportion are a lot higher, but that's a different topic. So now I've yapped a bit more, slightly off topic, I can actually go back to the price action, and now we can look at this move. So again, we've had like 4 candles, and I think one of the things I looked at as well, or one of the things I just see, not floating around per se, I should actually read chat in a second, but I'm going to continue this. Another thing, I have a blocked nose, and it's like deep-rooted blocked, so if I like sound really weird for like 2 seconds, it's because I can't breathe from my nose, and I can't spit it out, so I'm just going to literally continue. I'm just going to drink some water and hope it goes away. Okay, so another thing I've looked at is what is a kind of like 4 candle idea, where it's like you look at the main candle, you look back of it, and then the 4th candle in this period is if that prints below this main area, is when you should start to see a bit of a reversal. It sounds so like magical fairy dust stuff, but it's just I don't know. Okay, whatever. This is what I'm talking about right now. But in this case, it's like, yes, we did have this green candle, but if you look at the size of these candles come into these areas, and the difference I think as well is, even though these candles are very big, we don't really have much area. Like, okay, these candles, especially on the 1 hour anyway, if we look back, it's like these main candles down here, this singular 1 hour candle was like a 3% move. But these candles not only do have these big wicks, but they're like, you know, 0.6%, 0.7, like 1.1. So it's like, it's not like we have a massive displacement where if we reverse back into there should be pre-existing buy orders which haven't been filled, where we come into this area, we sort of fulfill buy orders, and then we continue to break the high. It's nothing like that. It's still a strong move where we should expect some sort of buy orders. And again, we did have that with the latest candle. If you look at this singular area, it's like, okay, yeah, we did have that. But then you can start to see on the way down, we're not printing these massive gap areas or anything, but you can start to see we're starting to do that, especially if we use this void drawing methodology. We had this wick into this area, and obviously we then came down. So, well, not obviously, but you know, we continue downwards. And if we draw this, I want to actually see what we have in here. It's like, okay, from this, it's like we'd have to come towards this area to actually find interest, and you can see we printed right past it, and it's like, this isn't a great area. It's a great move, but you can see we didn't really do anything with this. You know, as we're watching, it's not like gaps in candles are, oh yeah, as soon as you see us come into this gap, where you have to buy and you have to long. It's like you have to watch price, and you have to pay attention to if price is responding to these areas, because it's not a set in stone thing. There's multiple candles, you know, on there's different time frames, different candles, different areas. So it's not, you know, it's not determined. If there's a gap in between 2 wicks of a candle, there has to be buy orders there, and the price has to come to there, and you have to long at this price. You have to watch price move from this area. You have to let's say in this case, you know, we've come down. You have to watch on the lower time frames anyway. You'd have to watch for a reversal, because again, lower time frames, you can see low, high, printed past. So in this case, technically on the 50-minute, we're in a downtrend. So you'd have to look at us coming into this area and actually wait for us to, you know, either do a change in state or something to actually show you that we're starting to move up and we're starting to reverse now from this buy area. And if you don't do that, why would you long? So that's kind of the thing. It's like, I'm not saying every one of these areas is guaranteed to buy, but if I was to gauge and you have to go, it's like the whole point of charts. It's like, it's a chance game. It's like, you just do whatever you can to give yourself the highest chance of a success. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to get 100% success rate. It's not a thing where like there's some like meticulous thing you can do which will give you 100% success. It's more so of a thing where it's like you have to give yourself the best fighting odds to actually get a successful trade. So it's like, in my opinion, it's like what's a stronger area where there's going to be these massive buy areas? Is it going to be these singular triple candles which have massive moves and no retracements, or is it going to be these slow steady moves which have big wicks? And I'm not saying we big wick down, but you know, especially in these cases, it's like we're not really displacing, we're kind of just moving upwards very steeply. We are expanding per se, but obviously now we can go to the 15 minutes to kind of look. In this case, what do we have? It's like obviously we have these expansions, and again on the lower time frames we do have that applicability candle by candle basis, because again on the 1 hour it's like it doesn't look great, but on the 50-minute relative to what takes, I'm trying to like word it properly, like the strength in which it takes a candle to move responding from one of these buyers, let's say on the 50-minute, is going to be less than the higher time frames, because it's all relative on it's, you know, these candles are relative on the time frame. So you know, we can still use these ideas on these lower time frames. So same thing here, really big expansions, slightly not even really coming into these areas or anything, but then we start to come to this area where it's like we have this big expansion, and then we kind of consolidate really like tinily, which is interesting. Obviously I wouldn't say, oh this is a free candle pattern, you know, or we have a down candle, up candle, down candle. This is definitely something we want to watch for, but it's also a thing where it's like, okay, we've kind of formed this area where we're kind of, you know, if you were to think about it again, we could go to low time frames and look at it, because technically we can. It's the same thing where it's like we've come down, we've come up equally, we've come down equally, we've pretty much come up equally, and then we've you know, we obviously got this high, which we want to focus on these highs. We're in an uptrend. We want to focus on the highs. We want to focus on coming into our area on the below us for internal. So we're looking for order blocks. In this case, obviously, great order block here. As you can see, midpoint being used pretty nicely. Again, obviously, we came into an area of interest. We then have this engulf, and obviously, this is going to be a buy area. Just whatever. But you know, ignoring that, we definitely have what is considered a slight consolidation in this range, we have this range. Obviously, this is the 15-minute. This is, but again, it's like you can look on the 4 hour for reversals, but it's like if you're trading if you're looking at the 1 hour to look for trades, it's like you have to use your time frames relative, whether it be daily, hourly, 50 minutes. Like you have to look relative to your time frames. So in this case, it's like, okay, we notice these candles are really just doing the same thing over and over again. We've spent 30 minutes just being in this range. This 18 to 8:15, 8:30. I wouldn't say. If I saw this, because again, this is all hindsight. I know this is the thing. It's like it's all hindsight. Whatever I'm saying right now is just like nonsense, because I can see it, and it's not like I'm in the time in the I'm not watching it live. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to think, if I saw this live, would I think of this? And I think I would. I think if I saw this on the 50-minute and saw we were doing these really tiny candles and we had this range behind us, I'd probably want to look on the 5-minute and go, okay, we have these triple candles which have the exact same width or height even. If we go back or go forward even, back to the range, it's like, okay, we haven't moved in this whole range, and then we have this high, and obviously we have this move up, which is out of this consolidation. We have this technically as a manipulation. So if I made this like red or whatever, obviously we take out this high manipulation. Obviously you can see like a massive move up high, and then obviously we come down. So like it's not like some of these candles, again, these are massive, are going to be massive areas, but like in this case, it's like ever since this, like from this candle, you know what? Actually, no, ignore that. I'm trying to give a reason to why this high could be an interesting high and this one wasn't, but they look identical. So that's kind of a void point. But regardless, so actually look at what we have right here, which is this kind of consolidation area on the 5-minute anyway, and then we have this move up, and then we kind of have this like hoverage. Or mini area. It's just these wicks, and you're just not moving upwards anymore. We've come past this high, which is great. Yeah, cool. And then the idea is, if we were to ignore this and just look at external to internal, which is basically a bull trend, we've taken the high. Great. What do we want to look for then? Is a certain support point or certain area where we should find some sort of support. So it's like in this case, it would be do I have? I could do this, I suppose. So it's like, this is ugly. This is really ugly, actually. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just drawing this so you can see like the support point, for like the midpoint of it, and then the whole area, because obviously we could technically find support here, which actually if we come across, we did for a while. So it's like, okay, what do we want to look for? Well, we have this consolidation. We don't really have anything here which looks like it could be a buy area. We have this tiny gap here, and it's like, okay, cool, we technically have a gap, but it's not a big displacement or anything like that. So I'm actually delete this for now. So all we really have is this outstanding block, and then we potentially have some sort of buy down here, which obviously if we then actually draw it across, it's like if we do it from that's not what I wanted to draw. I don't know why I'm doing, I should just do this area actually. There we go. So it's like if we come back into it, it's like, yeah, and then we obviously, I'm drawing from the bodies here, but normal people, not weird people like me, they actually draw from here. So coming past this area, we do come down and then come up again. So we do technically use that, but other than that, it's like, what do we really have? And this thing is like, especially on the lower time frame, it's like, okay, if we start to print past 122.5 or what, nearly half, or 0.50. 122,100, whatever. If we come past this, it's like, okay, we've technically come past this low. If we start to come past this support, and obviously in this case we can see we've actually flipped it here, which makes sense, I suppose. It's like, okay, we've had this massive move down. This isn't displacement per se, but again, there's still definitely areas on this way down which you can see we kind of potentially use. But the main point is we've printed past this low. Not a very good thing, definitely not. Secondly, as well, we produced this low. We didn't print past this low. Great. Okay, we did, technically do a tiny thing here, but the main low was definitely this low. You can see move up, move down, this main low. We moved up, came to this gap, textbook gap. And this is the thing as well. It's not like this is the area. This is the immediate response from this area, and we kind of move down pretty nicely. So if we go from the candle bodies, it's like, okay, cool. We come to this midpoint really nicely. So this is more of a displacement rather than this area. So we kind of come up into this area, use the resistance, and then come down. And now we've printed past this low, which is concerning. So it's kind of like I mean, people, you can say head and shoulders. There's some people say like market maker, sell model. I don't know, whatever you coin it. It's I mean, it's kind of angled, to be fair. It's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Let me get the cipher pattern. Do you know what? One day, as a test, I want to go through some of these just to see what they do. Like cipher pattern. I have no idea what that is. Okay, so it's pretty grim to go down here. I guess I'll go down here. It's kind of grim, but do you know what? I guess I'll have to. I'll just go from down here, I guess. But this is kind of the point, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that is, whether you say head and shoulders, whether you say it's some sort of, because it's like the market maker sell model. It's like, okay, you do this, you have this high area, you have a bit of consolidation, you print upwards, and then you immediately come downwards from it, and then you on the way down of this move, you produce gaps. You know what? Oh, it's not. Here we go. It's kind of like this, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have a consolidation and you probably have a manipulation. This isn't really. This is kind of what I'm saying. Yeah, it's kind of. That's kind of. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this phase of it, if you know what I mean. It's not. Whatever. This is my thing. I'm calling this. This is the Oracle sell model. Whatever. It's head and shoulders. It's head and shoulders. I'm selling a head and shoulders. That's what I'm selling right now. Head and shoulders. But it's the reason of why does head and shoulders work. It's like, okay, well, we accumulate. I mean, again, it depends on what it is. It's like you can have that move where this is an interesting area. In this case, what we had these kind of continuous lows where we have all these highs. It's kind of this like. I don't know what you can coin it. You call it different things where you have this kind of trend line of just these highs where like you come above them and then boom, there you go. So clearly this is consolidation. This is the major high. To focus on, these are all the subsequent highs. This is definitely stacking up to be an interesting area. Obviously we've come above it and now we've come down again. So this is definitely the manipulation. So if you think about consolidation, manipulation, distribution, aka being you consolidate. You have this massive move out, and then you reverse, and then you just kind of come down. That's your distribution. You move downwards. So that's the same thing. So it's the same thing as head and shoulders. So it's like, why does head and shoulders work? Well, in this case, to map out head and shoulders, it's like you have to give a reason. Like, why is price going to move down from a certain area? Well, in this case, as I've just shown, we have this kind of gap area. We've come to the midpoint, and the midpoint isn't like a set in stone thing. Nothing's ever set in stone in price action, but it's like we're gonna have buys, or in this case sells on the downside. But this is the immediate expansion downwards from the whole move up. We've had this whole move up, and now we've expanded down, and now we're starting to come down. I mean, some of these cases, yeah, we have had a bit of moves, especially this one, but realistically, we've never really had that move down. This one we did, but again, you can see these candles suck, absolute. Like arse. But if you go to this area, considering we've come from a consolidation, we have all these highs, we've broken past this high, we've had this massive pump, and we have these tiny candle bodies with these massive wicks, and then we dump down. It's kind of a stacked kind of idea. It's like, okay, cool, this is going to be an area where there's going to be high sell. So price is going to want to retrace back into this area to fill more sell to continue downwards. Same thing with these areas. Again, it's continuous. Again, the price is never perfect. It doesn't have to come into these areas. It's just what it is. But in this case, it's different because we've actually printed past this low, and now we have this order block, which is now a breaker block because we reversed it. So we're going to find resistance at this midpoint. And if we shimmy it across more, we're going to continue to find resistance here. We come back into this gap. We then come up again, and then we find more resistance. Again, breaker block, we found resistance. We continue downwards again. And especially coming from area of interest, massive move, pretty big move down. Draw us across, we fill this gap pretty much to the T here, come down again, we have these like triple bottoms, quadruple, duple bottoms, come past these bottoms, okay, cool, we're in a downtrend now, so remember, this is now external range, the lows are external, so you come past these external, and then you want to see what we have behind us, which could be resistance. We don't have anything really behind us, we've already filled this gap, we've already done this, so it's either you focus on these highs, or we kind of look at, maybe the rest of this gap, or, remember what we have this order block, which is now a breaker block. So you can see we pretty much came to the midpoint exactly, nearly anyway. And then obviously, what's the next focus? Internal. Obviously, we continue. This is actually quite deep. We're dumping now. This is proper expansion downwards. So I know I've yapped a lot about Bitcoin. We've spent like 30 minutes talking about Bitcoin. but I really just wanted to go through it on a lower time frame as to what I would, I'm not saying I'm some saint, but as to what I would kind of, how I would go about looking at this price action. Again, I know it's all hindsight and this, that, the other, but this is how I would talk about price. And it's like, I'm doing this, you know, I didn't plan to do this on the 5 minutes. It's kind of a spontaneous thing. So it's just going about it in a conformed way and looking at it like, not like jumping all over the place. It's looking at it, you know, as it's happening. In this case, it's not happening, but, you know, it's like, again, hindsight, this, that, the other, but, you know, it's what I would be looking for. Again, the same thing here. We've taken this low. We don't have anything here. We've no gaps. We have nothing. So it's either focusing on this high, which could have some sort of resistance. But again, it's not like we have equal highs or anything. And these are tiny candles. These aren't going to be expansion. So the only thing I see is definitely going to be this resistance at this breaker block. And obviously, we did that. So it's just kind of that process. Obviously, you know, we can continue this. We can continue this forever. Well, not forever, but we can continue following this whole thing down. But that's kind of the thing. It's like, you know, we've watched it on the lower time frame have the reversal, because it's like, yeah, on the if you go to the 4 hour and look at this, it's like we're not really going to see that reversal, not model per se, but we're not going to see that reversal happen, because on the 4 hour it's like, okay, like you're going to be like not uneducated on the market, but it's like if you're looking at this, you're like, if you're like a 4 hour Andy, you know, if you're a 4 hour David and you're only looking at the 4 hour, it's like, what did we fall for? What the hell? Why are we going down for? I've longed. Because you're not looking at it, you know, you're not actually watching price. You're just looking at 4 hours. You're okay, cool. Oh yeah. Oh, we're going up. We're going up to 120. We're going to go to 120. Oh, well, yeah. Oh, what have we gone down for? Price never goes up forever. It's like, why would you? And obviously, you know, because there's people. I think I saw on Twitter, probably James Wynn at this point. You know, if you've seen James Wynn, it's probably him. Who I saw, but it's like people will probably be at 120 going, we're going to go to 125. We're going to go to 122. We're going to go to 127. It's like, but they're not watching price. It's like, the thing is, for me, it's like you have to watch price until, like, price works until it doesn't. It's like, if you don't want to trade against the trend, but you always want to keep your eye out for what could be forming a downtrend, especially if you go on the 5 minute. Like, this is actually really easy price action, and that's not. I don't want to sound like an arse about it, but like this is easy price action. And then, but obviously, again, it's not easy if you don't know it. That's the thing, you know. But it's like looking at this, having this, like, especially on the 15 minute, this is like, you know, I know it's these 3 candles. It's like we clearly have a 5 minute consolidation. So it's like, okay, where am I? Here we go. So it's like, if we continue, and this is the thing, if we continue to do this, like for until like 10 a.m., 9:30, whatever, and then we came down and not dumped, but we came down to 121.6. I would be looking to go up, to continue upwards. Like, of course, but it's a consolidation. We have support, so why would we really go down? We have support down here. We have this consolidation. We're holding this midpoint really easily. And it's like, okay, we're just waiting to see what happens. You know, we don't have to always take a trade. And then we pump. We come past this high. Well, not pump, I say, but, you know, we come up, whatever. The price moves up. We move past all these highs. We move past this high. And not only do we do that, we're focusing on, it's technically head and shoulders, but I know people who would use this like market maker sell model. They're like, oh, I don't want to use head and shoulders. What is that? You know, it's like it's a thing, but it looks like a head and shoulders. You know, if you do, you know, if you're looking at price and it works for you, there you go. You know, head and shoulders. If it works for you, it works for you. That's what I'm saying. Like it's a pan. Pans are just a print as to a market situation. But it's like if you miss pattern it, it's like I think it's easier to know how the market, you know, not how the market moves. I don't want to sound like I know everything, but it's like it's easier to know why the price is doing. Like you can draw head and shoulders. Like, oh, well, we just need to put the right shoulder in. It's like, well, when's you going to put the right shoulder in? You need to give reason to why you're doing the right shoulder. In this case, we had this expansion down from this high. We then came up into it, came to the midpoint, filled in sell orders, and then came down. That's our right shoulder. And what we're waiting for in this case, for me, it was to continue downwards and continue past this low, and then just, you know, there you go. That's your reversal. We've done the reversal now. We've printed past this low. This is our reversal. So then you can trade on whatever. And in that case, it's like not only is it reversal on 15 minute, it's going to be reversal. Or not only is this reversal on the 5 minute, it's going to be reversal on the 15 minute. So it's like you could spend 1 hour relative and just short it. And it's like from there, it's like, okay, what I would look for then on the 5 minute, if I found that reversal and I want to take a short, I would go to maybe the 15 minute, 1 hour and look for where the higher time frame point of interest would be. this isn't interesting to me. Obviously, we technically have gaps. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, obviously it's hindsight, but it's like to be honest, I probably would have looked at this midpoint and gone, okay, I might look at 120 to get out. But then it's like, as I just said, you can't just you can't just draw it. It's not these looking at candle gaps it's not just a chart pattern. You have to, there has to be reason for it. So it's like, you know, in this case, it's like, it's you know, it's not just something, it's not a pattern. It's not something which just always happens. It's like, if we're looking at this move down, we deeply retrace. What would I be looking for? To even respond. If we don't respond off that, it's very easy to come towards these lows. If we come towards these lows, I'm continuing the trade easily. So that's kind of what I'd look for. Again, that's Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin. I'm done now. I've spent 40 minutes, haven't looked at chat once. I do apologize. I'm gonna look at chat now. It looks like heaven's come down above me. I don't know. So I don't know how the camera works in the way that if I move my arms, sometimes I go really white. But whatever. Evening, KB. Shout out to you. So let's see who's here. Engenders, shout out to you being here. Appreciate you. KB, Danny, Kishan, shout out you. Miss you a lot. Miss you too, Kishan. I know you're busy. You're busy though. That's the thing. You're busy. But you're doing cool things, man. Like, it's not like you're just like moping about and you're just not on the stream. I'm not. You know, it's not like this is school. You have to come here. But you know, I appreciate you being here in a time of probably stress, and you know, it's very busy. Tariq, shout out to you being here. Appreciate you. Appreciate you all, man. Everyone I've just said now, all your names. Appreciate you all being here. Excited for tomorrow. Obviously, we've got our quiz. I've implemented a new thing where we can see live per question the answers. So because one of the issues I had was I didn't know if we look at the YouTube chat. I actually didn't know because sometimes there was no. I'm hitting my mic. I'm a mess right now. I don't know what's going on. I'm just gonna put my hands behind my back. What would happen on the quiz is like I would look at the YouTube chat to try and figure out who said what. And then I wouldn't understand, you know, what people said because it's a string of numbers. So what we have now as a new little element is per question we can see how long someone took and what they answered with. We can't see the right answer, so we still have that, you know, we still have that tenseness, if you will. But we've got some more features also on the way as well for the quiz. So I'm very excited for the quiz. It's going to be good. So hopefully those of you who are here right now will join us on the quiz tomorrow. And yeah, anyway, I'm gonna take my hands behind my back now. So that's kind of it for Bitcoin. I know you've probably fallen asleep, probably had a drink in your hand, you're sitting on your chair, you're like this, and you know, you're listening, and then your mouth starts to droop, and then you're really tired, and your drink spills on the floor, and you're just like comatose. Because it's one. I'm aware it's one string of words. But you know, it's just how I present it. But yeah, anyway, that's what I would do. That's the reversal. That's Bitcoin's reversal. That's why we're reversed, in my opinion. Anyway, obviously with my methodology, not my method. It's like just an amalgamation of things to look at. But with my reasoning, that's why we came down. Because again, you can go back on the 5 minute, you can go through this entire move and look at every single pinpoint moment of all of these moves, and you probably won't find reversal. But then but to be fair, in some of these cases, it's like some of them aren't going to be reversals. Like if we go to 15 minute, and again, like some of these, you probably find certain candles which might have that, you know, equal, but you don't really. That's the thing. It's like you don't really find that. You find equal candles, but you don't find something like this. Like this was definitely something to keep an eye on. And then, you know, if you actually go to it on the 50 minute, from there you had and it gave you an hour to think about this and wait for it. I mean, not really. This move obviously happened, so it kind of gave you like 45 minutes to look at this and go, okay, we've done a consolidation. Let's see what happens. We have support below us, so the likelihood chance is we probably will pump up again. Considering we're in a uptrend, we probably will go up again, which technically means we'll have a manipulation above this consolidation, take out all these highs, and probably and wait for a reversal. And obviously, lo and behold, we did like all of that. So yeah, that's what I would talk about for Bitcoin. I've already, you know, it feels like 2 years ago, but yes, I did talk about my opinions on where we can go to. I don't think we found support or anything where we are now. I do have this gap drawn out, We did fill this. We did come up a bit, but we're in a downtrend. You know, we're not like doing anything. Like we've just found another low. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, actually, I'm gonna delete this for now. So this isn't good. Like whatever. So from there, what do we have? We've come past all these lows. We've only just really, like, if we think about it on the 1 hour, we've only really just started to come below these lows. So do I think we're gonna reverse and go to 125k? No. We've only really just started our move down. I think this area is massive. And from there, we don't really have anything massive like this. This is the area for me to focus on. Let's go to 4 hour quickly. Like, okay, we have a candle here. This is the area. This is full stop the area. Now, what I could probably do is draw a premium discount just to see, you know, the idea of what would be an area of the high. So if we get the this malarkey going on and do it from this low, we can see, isn't that magic? The area I'm focusing on starts pretty much exactly below this wick, which starts at the equilibrium. So the thing is about premium discount is it's not a thing where you focus on premium discount and as soon as you come to the 0.5, you have to long. It's a scenario where if you trail up the high, you reverse, you look, obviously we looked at the 5 minute. If I was looking at the 5 minute and we start to really come down and we continue to do it on the 15 minute and start to come down on the 1 hour, what I'm watching for is, okay, we've reversed. Where do we go to? Well, I would then draw my premium discount and I would look to see what we have below the equilibrium and to see what we could potentially be longed at. I definitely think we could long around about 114k. We definitely have this area with this one. And yet, each of these, and it's like, okay, I could look at it candle by candle basis. We have an area at 112, we have an area here. But what I'm doing, I'm drawing a void, which basically is between this, the last negative candle before this expansion upwards, and then this last negative before this whole thing. That's kind of the idea. Excuse me. That's why I've drawn it. It's kind of a general, it just shows a general buy area, but multiple times over it comes to the midpoint. So that's what we have on the 4 hour. And I think having drawn on the daily, and if we draw it on the daily, it produces our low or our support area at 113.3. So if we kind of mesh that idea, I think we're going to have a buy area probably within this kind of general scope is what I'm going to say. So what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to delete this because I can draw it again. I know what that was. So I'm probably going to keep this here. So this is definitely the area I probably want to focus on for Bitcoin as we continue downwards. Because look, like, am I crazy to say this? Like, even if you don't know what I'm talking about, like, I think a lot of stuff is like subconscious, right? So it's like, okay, we've come past every low, every single low before this massive move. We've come past and we've printed past on the 4 hour. Why would we go up now? Yes, okay, some of these could be equal lows and we're long and we go below them and then we're going to long from them. And yes, I could probably go to 50 minutes and try and see for a reversal, but we don't. We're not reversing. We have this move, and yes, we had a massive move up. But remember one thing: look for the consolidation. I know this is like what's the word for it? To be fair, I probably would have drawn it from there. To be fair, this is kind of to be fair, I probably would have done it from the wicks. So this is like, it's the same thing. It's really the same thing. And I think a lot of the time, because I've looked recently, I've been not backtracking, I'm backtesting, but I've been looking at some lower time. Because I normally do the 4 hour, I do daily, I do weekly, but I never really show the 15 minute on the streams. So one of the things I've been doing lately is looking at reversals and looking at them on the lower time frames. And what happens a lot is, or what I notice is consolidations a lot and manipulations, and then reversing from there and doing a lot of that. You know, that happens quite often. So this would definitely be the case. Okay, we have this wick low, this wick high. We've formed this area. Obviously, in this case, for me, I would only have really drawn this maybe at this position. If we had this move down, because like, okay, we have this low, this high. You know, okay, cool. This low, this high, boom, like whatever. And then we bounced from this midpoint and then had resistance in the range. And I think for me, I would have probably noticed this at 1:30. I would have gone, okay, cool. We've had this low to the high. We've had these highs and these lows. We're in this range. So then obviously, exact same thing I just talked about on the 15 minute, on the 5 minute. Consolidation. We have all these highs. We have this high. It's like, okay, cool. We have this high. We have some highs back here as well. We have this main area for consolidation of the highs. We just have this stacked area of highs, which could be where price would want to go to. We then have this consolidation. We then have this massive pump. And now we have this move down. But the thing is, right, this is we're already going down. So it's not like some crazy thing, but it's definitely like, okay, we've manipulated, we've come past this high, and then we have this displacement. You know what I mean? And obviously now it's like displacement is massive expansion, or is massive massive potential for sell area. And then obviously we've formed this, and obviously we've come up and touched these areas. Obviously we have these intermediary gaps. Boom, we touched this one, but we've predominantly filled this entire area. We've done this high. I can almost guarantee we're probably going to head for this 115.7. You know, we're already doing that now. We're going to head for this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, technically we have this low, and technically we could come up, but again, we're on the 15 minute, and if we go to the 1 hour, it's like, it's even worse. It's like, or even good for sure. It's like we have all these lows. Like, this is actually a pretty good area as well. Same idea for consolidation, where it's like we kind of have this whole area here, but again, we already came up above it, and obviously we've come down. So but yeah, we have all these lows. So yeah, definite move up from these lows. But again, all it is, it's just a downtrend. And one of the ways you can think about it is external range, internal range. So the lows in this case are external. So as soon as you find resistance, in this case resistance, because obviously we're in a downtrend, as soon as you find resistance and reversal, you look to head for the low. It's just that. So we've filled this. This is our resistance. And then literally what you could have done is like, okay, cool. We have this area. We want to wait for this to actually reverse. Okay, I'll probably go to 5 minute in this case and have a look. What do we have? We have this whole move up, which fills this. Obviously, again, this is the thing. It's like you don't just short from the midpoint. That makes no sense. We have this. We continue upwards. And in this case, it's like, okay, we have this low, and then we start to come up again, and then we do this kind of high, lower high scenario. But we haven't quite printed lower again. But you can see, like, we're starting to not really. Like, if I actually get my pencil out, or not my pencil, but kind of my tools, it's like, okay, what's the focus? You know, it's like, if we look at the candle bodies, it would be this. So this candle at 8:05, we print past this. I'm going, okay, cool. We're starting to be in the position where we should be reversing, and obviously we continue that and whatnot. We could have done this as well to maybe fill, you know, this. You know, we have resistance here as well. So this would have been resistance. We have this potential gap as we print this. We could have come up into this area and then come down again. But the main point is we have this area which we've printed past on the candle, and then it's like, okay, cool. I'm going to short from here. And where am I going to aim for? It's like, okay, cool. You could. I'd probably, as soon as the candle prints, I'd probably just want to short. You could probably come up into it, but let's just do it from the bottom. You'd want to aim for this. You know what I'm saying? Again, I know this is hindsight. And this, you know, we could reverse out this. Again, this is the 5 minute. It's not like this is set in stone. But I would probably want to look for a short from there, because we're in this downtrend. So it's like what makes sense is you come into this internal area where there's going to be resistance, and then you move to the low. So in this case, it's we're coming down from here. We should move to the low. And what we've been doing, especially if we look at it a easier time frame to look at it on. Well, we've just done that low, we've retraced back into it, and now we're continuing downwards. So on the 1 hour, what makes sense is we're just going to continue to this low. So I think we're more than easily going to continue downwards. And then if, again, I've already done this, if we look back, what do we have? We have this massive gap here. We have these gaps, especially when it comes to the 4 hour as well. We just have this area of buy. So that's where I'm focusing for. So for me, that's whatever area it's going to be. And you know, some gaps, it's like there's been plenty of times where you come into one of these buy areas, in this case buy area, or these displacements, and you pretty much wick into them and then immediately just pump out. So I'm not saying we can't immediately pump from like 115 or whatever, but I'm kind of aiming for the entire kind of the average. You know what I'm saying? Like if we add all these up and kind of like divide the area, it meets at about this midpoint, which is basically filling this entire candle. So that hits at about 114k. So that's where I'm aiming for. That's where I'd want to aim for and kind of focus on to see what we could maybe, you know, look at too long from. So this is the longest I've ever spoken about Bitcoin for. But again, I've been doing it on, you know, different time frames and whatnot. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and look at the coins we've already looked at. And then we're going to, we're just going to have a look. Okay, what have I been doing? Okay. So yeah, I think my main one was definitely this, because again, the difference between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana is that Bitcoin was in price discovery, so I couldn't do a premium discount or anything like that. And I had to do standard deviations. But with Ethereum's case, we'd already dumped. We've already printed past this area. We've already done this whole premium discount scenario, and we're retracing upwards to come back into premium to find a short. So for me, it was focusing above the equilibrium. And then what do we have? Well, we have this gap with the midpoint directly on 0.62. So it's pretty, you know, it's not, for me, it wasn't rocket science to think, okay, we're probably going to come to this midpoint at about 3,060, 3,070, and then potentially reverse. This is, you know, we also look like we're starting to, we're not slowing down per se. I mean, the green candles, the green candles, the positive candles are definitely slowing down. I'm trying to look to see, like, because we're looking at the weekly there. I'm trying to just, it's very, you know what, I'm going to delete some things because I don't actually know what I'm looking at. So, okay, this was the main gap area. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this. We've already looked at this. I'm going to delete this high, which we've already done. I'm going to delete these. I'm going to delete all this, basically. I don't need this. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. There we go. I didn't want to do that. I'm deleting this. We've already looked at this. I'm deleting this. We've already, you know, if I need to redraw it, I can redraw it. I'm not an idiot. You know, I remember what we talked about. I'm deleting everything but what we want to focus on, which is this area, which, okay, now cool. So we've come into this 0.62 area, which again, you know, it's like, it's just an arbitrary value for like when you start to notice deeper retracements, or in this case, you know, deeper upwards, or in this case. But it's like, okay, the focus has definitely been on this gap. So if we go to the daily, I do want to look at, this actually is the entire area. So I do want to draw across this gap just to see if we've filled the entire thing or not. Yeah, we actually filled it pretty much on the dot. But again, like I said, the idea is for me it was to draw an entire area to give a general kind of an average midpoint of this buy area, or in this case a sell area, to focus on. So in this case that was pretty much 3,064, and then obviously the this value for a short was also 3,072. Our max high has been 3,090, so relatively close. Again, relatively close. So I would also want to look for to see if we are going to reverse, because again, it's not set in stone. We technically, you know, haven't started to come down yet from this area, so it doesn't mean we can't go deeper, and we can't retrace into this 3,170 area. But the general idea is, okay, if Bitcoin's going down and potentially the market could want to start to come down, we would want to look for short in Ethereum. I'm trying to look. Well, what we have is we have a print. We have this print above here. Obviously, in this case, we also have. Oh, actually, no, we don't really have a. We have these like mini prints, as you can see here, with these areas. So definitely showing these are showing signs of, okay, moving up. We're definitely kind of moving up right now for Ethereum. So what it could look like to me, we've taken this high. Let's go down. It's 15-minute. Okay, there we go. So we've come above this high. Really, kind of pretty much, you can see there's like 4 candles worth of just highs at this exact area, which obviously we've taken above now, and now obviously we're coming down. But what we have here, we can see we have this high, low, high, you know, higher low, and now we're starting to come down. We've printed past this low, so it looks like prices wanted to target this high. Again, if you can see as well, like, this is a the same thing we kind of looked at for Bitcoin as well. This probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same time. We have this kind of this is definitely an interesting area in terms, or a point of interest. We have this kind of move. Obviously, we have this this pump upwards. Obviously, we formed this on the way down, which obviously we came to fill a bit here, and obviously we moved down again from it. Coming to it, obviously we've come above this high, and now we can see we've done the same thing actually, kind of, where we've started to do this. We've moved these. Whoops. We print these candles on the way down. where we kind of have this area, which we've filled now. You can see we've filled this area, which is the same thing as kind of like the head and shoulders, and now we're starting to come down. So potential kind of reversal pattern, not patterns, or kind of potential reversal. But what we could also want to not focus on and pay attention to is definitely going to be looking at this area, or this kind of whole buy area, because again, these are decent candles, so and especially the fact that we're still technically moving up on the high time frames. We're not fully in a downtrend on across the board yet. So I do think Ethereum is in this scenario where we could maybe have a bit more move up, but from what I see right now on the 50-minute, we are starting to kind of move down a bit. If we continue this, and we probably are starting to come down from this resistance area we've had on the higher time frame, and this whole kind of this whole kind of premium discount idea, which we've come to, which we've had this whole move up, we've hit this area exactly. Not saying we can't continue upwards, like I've already said multiple times, but I think we're near the general area we're going to start to move down in. Same thing with Solana. Let's really quickly move on. I know I'm going over. What's Solana doing? I think I definitely talked about 180. I think, what was I talking about? Let's see. Oh, damn. I drew this. I think I drew this last stream. That is like pinpoint from that thing right there. But yeah, I mean, I think I drew this across as an area to focus on, because again, obviously we had this move down, and you can see we had this same idea where we came down, came up. We have these candles here, candle body print above them. This is kind of this change in state. We've produced these gaps, came into them, and obviously came up. This is pretty classic reversal, as we've seen twice on Bitcoin, once on Ethereum, once now Solana here, and obviously we continue this uptrend. And then obviously our main focus, let's go to the daily. For what we have on the daily is we had this kind of downtrend, and then we start to print upwards. So in terms of the fact that we're printing upwards in this case, this is now external range. So we had the high, and then we retraced into this gap, and then obviously we produced this high, and then we didn't quite come past this high in terms of resistance. Obviously we've already come past this high, but if price is already in this area, we definitely easily could have, the price definitely easily wanted to come to this area, to come past this high and break above it. We had this downtrend, and then obviously we had this reversal, and we've now come past this high with this kind of wick. Obviously low time frames probably printed past it, and now we're retracing. So again, I still think we're kind of going up for Solana. Again, Solana's a bit of a dark horse, as we've seen multiple times already. We've come to this midpoint. We've retraced a tiny bit on the daily. So you can see we had this kind of pinpoint here. Interestingly as well, multiple lows here. Big candle down, recovery. So I definitely could think that this is going to be... I don't have any PD light. Let me make a new thing. Oh, I meant black. I'm stupid. I promise I'm going to end the stream soon. I know I'm yapping a lot, but I spoke so much about Bitcoin. There we go. So same thing here. We have a bit of support here. Obviously, we've come past all these lows on the 1 hour. We've come to this midpoint here. We've also come past this low. So high time frame point of interest. If you were to zoom out on the 4 hour, you would also see this is probably a low on the 4 hour as well, which you can see we've done that. We've come past this, and on the 1 hour, we have formed this order block. You can see singular candle came into it, pretty much came right up and kind of engulfed the entire thing. So I definitely think this is going to be some esque of support, probably coming to the midpoint. Obviously, maybe wrong and not financial advice, but yeah, obviously you can kind of see with this we kind of had a move down. Move up. Obviously this is the 1 hour, but on the daily we wanted to come past these highs. We've actually stacked a lot of highs here as well to focus on, and obviously we've had this retracement, came past these lows on a wick anyway, and obviously we've come up. I think this is, again, not saying we were in a downtrend, but we definitely printed past this low. We were definitely in a position where we could have continued a downtrend, but we found this higher time frame support from this gap on the daily, as we just looked at. We've now formed a order block here as support. I definitely think we'll probably reverse. We've already printed past this high. We've already started to reverse. I definitely think we were going to come into this area as our support and want to aim for some of these highs and continue on upwards. And I think on the daily, we're already doing that. And I think we're going to definitely want to aim for 168. So my opinion for Solana, I definitely think we're going to want to aim for some moves higher. But, if some other things in the market are moving down, I don't want to say for certain that it won't have any influence on Solana, but I do think from what I have just on price action, we could start to see us continue to move back upwards again for Solana and start to aim for some more highs, which we have above us. So that's what I have. That's it. I've yapped, I know, but that's my opinion. So far so good on Bitcoin. Obviously, we looked at, we're 1 for 1 right now with our high 123k. Are we going to be 2 for 2 in our low 114ish k, whatever it was, that kind of range? Obviously, time will tell. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think we're going to go to that? Do you guys think we're going to come lower? Obviously, I know Hidden Gems thinks we'll go to 125k. Interested to hear what you guys think. I know I've kind of I've neglected you guys a bit like a puppy because I've just been literally like honed in on just talking. Yeah, I'm just looking at old. $105k is good from one pump, but yeah, I mean, how did DK 108k? You guys are lower than me. I don't know what I don't know what people are looking at. To be fair, obviously I was looking at this area. We technically have something here, but other than that, it's like this is like. I mean, unless we could reverse. I mean, we could reverse it maybe. I don't think us coming to this area means we're going to hit 125k. We're in a downtrend. I just think this means us reversing and coming maybe back up into like 119k. I don't think us coming to this area means we're then going to pump and see new highs. I'm not leaving out the playbook because again, 127 was one of our highs. We had 125k back in January time. So we definitely come to it because again, I already said this last stream as well. We had 125k. I think I did a stream where I literally solely focused on the monthly and stuff and focused on what I think could be my targets for Bitcoin. And one of them was 125k. And obviously we've come very close to that. So again, with the standard deviation stuff and all that piled up, we had 123, 125, 127. So we definitely have this area above us, which we've already come to, but I'm not saying it doesn't have any leeway to come up again. But just based on price action, just based on what I have, we're definitely coming down right now, especially on the 4 hour. It's like, okay, and on the 4 hour, this is the thing, on the 15 minute and the 1 hour and whatnot, we've already spent some time coming down. But on the 4 hour, we've only just started to move past these lows. We're only just starting our downtrend. So I definitely think we'll trace deeper towards these areas. I don't think this means us reversing to 124k immediately, but I also don't think it means us coming towards 98k immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely think we'll have some leeway. But obviously, I've already talked about this 90k potential, and a lot of people have as well. So I guess we will see what we will do. But it's all the same thing, though, isn't it? Like, if you look at this, it's all the same thing with coming to the midpoint, or in terms of where our midpoint is, and we have this, actually. We have the entire focal point is within 90k. So, it's like, if we do reverse, which I'm not saying we do, and that's the thing, I've already talked about this, my worry was, for this move up, was the fact that we did a low at 98k. This is a very high low. So if we move up, it's not, I mean, I'm not saying it's an easy task to come below 98k, but it's a lot of a higher low than it was at, for example, we had this low and then this high, it's like, we had this low, this high, and then we had this low. So it's like this high, this low, this high, and then we had a low all the way down here. So it's like coming from 109 to 74 is quite big. And obviously we had this next pump, which obviously saw us come past this high with this whole move, and then we had another low, and the difference was 111.8, and then it was 98. So it's very close in terms of a potential low. Obviously we've come up a bit more now as well. So the distance isn't that big. So we'll see. Again, we'll see. I'm going to stop talking now. I've spent 15 minutes over the stream. So, I do need to end the stream now. So, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you all for joining. Those of you who came and left. I think it's right. I reckon what happens is people come in, they see Bitcoin, they see what I have to say, and they leave. Because I spend so long. I think it takes a certain person to be able to listen to me for an hour and 15 minutes talking non-stop. So, you're warriors. You guys are warriors, man. Just listen to me for ages. So thank you all. Appreciate you all. I will be on the stream tomorrow, obviously. I am the game master. I still haven't picked a favorite. I might try and see if I can pick a favorite. I might send some answers to somebody. Because if Mike can do it, why can't the Game Master do it? You know, if anyone was going to be a cheating bias, it would be the Game Master. You know, so you know, I might do that, but you know, I'm not saying I will. It's probably mostly joking. But yeah, I think it's Maple. I believe the quiz, so should be a bit more of a home ground for some of you guys who have done Maple quizzes before. It's not going to be Corgi AI, but I was very impressed. I will say again, I was very impressed with all of you who did join the Corgi AI quiz because it was top-notch performance. It was top-notch performance on that quiz. So I think we could throw you guys like historical arts, and you guys will probably do really well. So yes, appreciate you all for doing that. I don't think I have anything else to say, so I will see you guys tomorrow. If anything absolutely immensely crazy happens, I will try and post it in Telegram, but normally I don't really need to ever post it in Telegram. Oh, I should probably post more. I definitely should post more, actually. I'm not gonna lie, but I enjoy leaving the gaps so we can go over it with my voice instead of me typing it all out. But if something crazy happens, if we massively dump, I'll try and give a little bit of a post on Telegram. But other than that, you know, I'll be on the stream tomorrow. So shout out to you all. See you guys tomorrow if you are coming. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening. Obviously, some of you guys I think are in England and whatnot, so you probably don't have much rest of the evening. So enjoy what you have. Have a great sleep. Whatever. Have a great rest of tomorrow as well. Thank you, KB, as well. See you tomorrow. Yeah. Goodbye.